Welcome to another episode of Secrets Recap. Please like and subscribe to our channel for more content.
Junwoo woke up in an empty apartment. He saw a note from his mom telling him that everyone had left and he should go and buy groceries because the pantry is almost empty. Junwoo instead opened his computer and started playing games. While playing, his teammates brought up something they heard in the news. Intrigued, Junwoo opened the TV to see the news. It reported that large numbers of people are behaving violently, and there are numerous reports of assault. Suddenly, Junwoo heard a commotion outside and saw people running and screaming in the street below. He even spotted some people biting other people. Junwoo heard something from the hallway. When he checked it out, a neighbor had burst inside his apartment. He asked them to leave, but they refused. He then grabbed a knife and threatened his neighbor. But suddenly, his neighbor's eye started bleeding, which meant that he is infected. A few moments later, the neighbor snarled and started attacking him. They both struggled briefly, but Junwoo managed to push his neighbor out and slammed the door shut. Junwoo started barricading the door using his fridge. Sometime later, he received a message from his mother saying that they are hiding, but when Junwoo tried to contact them, there was no reception. He decided he had better ration his remaining food. As he watched the news, he learned that those who are infected show cannibalistic behavior and should be avoided at all costs. The virus is transmitted in the blood through bites. Junwoo decided to upload a photo of his location to know if there are other survivors like him. He then attached his phone to a drone and flew it out in hopes of getting a signal. However, his idea failed as the drone didn't have enough battery. Outside, Junwoo saw a policeman running away from an infected person. Junwoo tried to call the police officer, but at the same moment, the officer was overpowered by the infected person. Outside his door, a zombie had managed to get inside the apartment and then had even succeeded in getting through his barricaded bedroom door. Junwoo climbed to the balcony and the infected person pursued him, but fortunately fell off the edge. After a few days, Junwoo was distressed and started drinking alcohol as a substitute for water. In the news, he learned that the infected still retained a little intelligence, such as opening doors or even skills related to their profession. After 2 weeks, Junwoo's mental health had deteriorated. He danced around drunk. He even hallucinated that his family finally came home. When he finally snapped, he broke down crying. Junwoo grabbed a golf club and stormed into the hallway, beating as many zombies as he could. However, the commotion attracted more zombies in his direction, and Junwoo was overwhelmed by the numbers, so he retreated back. 20 days after the apocalypse, Junwoo witnessed explosions in the metro. Then, the power and water was cut off. Junwoo is now left without a family and also no resources. Feeling hopeless, he decided to kill himself, and he made a makeshift noose out of wires. He put his head in it, but just as he began to choke, a laser light coming from another building hit him. He immediately stopped his plan to kill himself. Instead, he rushed to the window and saw a woman looking through the binoculars. He waved at her and the lady waved back. The woman in the other building was named Yubin. When Junwoo woke up the next morning, he exchanged messages with Yubin using their smartphones on their balconies. Some time later, Yubin learned that Junwoo is hungry, so she threw a rope across, but it fell down on the street full of infected zombies. Junwoo saw this and decided to use his drone to deliver the rope to Yubin's apartment. While Junwoo was eating, the rope that was thrown earlier was being climbed by a zombified fireman. The rope was attached to a table, and as the zombie climbed, the table was dragged and it hit Yubin. This knocked her off her chair. Alarmed, Junwoo tried to distract the zombie using his drone, but it got destroyed. When the zombified fireman reached Yubin's balcony, she came out and cut its hands off with an axe. Later that night, Junwoo was exploring the neighboring apartment in search of food and supplies. He saw climbing equipment and camping gear, but while he was looting his neighbor's apartment, the owner of the house appeared and attacked him. A struggle ensued, but Junwoo managed to escape with his loot. At home, Junwoo rummaged through the things he had looted and found a walkie-talkie. He sent one of the walkie-talkies to Yubin via the rope connection they had made. The two survivors started communicating with them. That night, the two shared a meal together. Junwoo thanked Yubin for saving his life, but Yubin refused to take the credit, saying that she was the one whose life was saved. It was revealed that Yubin also had attempted suicide at some point during all this. Yubin headed there, fighting off the zombies as she came across. She almost got overpowered, but before any of them could bite her, Junwoo appeared. They ran to the 8th floor. There, they came across another group of infected ones, and when they ran to the hallway, they almost got cornered. Fortunately, at that moment, a man who lived nearby rescued them. Inside the man's apartment, he shared a meal with them. The man informed him that he heard on the radio that there are rescue teams and they'll be rescued soon. While they were eating, Yubin saw a family been starving for days. He locked Yubin in with his zombified wife. He held the door closed so she couldn't escape. Simultaneously, Junwoo woke up and pointed his gun at the man. The man dropped the rope The man unlocked the door and saw Yubin covering the face of his infected wife using a cloth. She then threw it at the man, and the man got bitten by his wife on his neck. He tried to shoot them both. Unfortunately, the gunshots attracted a horde of zombies. Feeling hopeless, the two decided it would be best to end their lives before the horde could reach them. Junwoo put the gun to his temple, but before he could pull the trigger, he heard a helicopter coming their way. The two of them quickly ran to the roof with a horde of infected ones trailing behind them. As Junwoo and Yubin arrived on the roof, the zombies also burst through the door, but they were saved immediately by the soldier who started shooting the infected. They immediately climbed into the helicopter that quickly delivered them to safety. Junwoo finally got a signal on his phone, and he could see that a huge part of the city had been infested with zombies. Other people also posted their location on social media, which helped the soldiers in rescuing survivors.